You know, you could be like lazy and tired. All of a sudden, $2 million comes on your lap, and you have a boost of energy. Money is energy. Real estate is a game where there are no losers. There are no opponents, if you know how to structure it and schedule it. So I want to share with you another story with some details. Do you see the old tenant that was there? Can you see it? Okay, it was Reebok. And Reebok had left. So I'm walking in front of the building. I was with my wife. And I look at the building, and it's 3 stories. It used to be Reebok on the first floor. I couldn't tell what's on the second floor. And the top floor, there's like a penthouse. So I see available. So I pick up the phone. I'm walking with my wife, and I call. And I said, I get a voicemail message. Hi, my name is Cherif Medawar. Just beautiful building here in front of 211 Cristo Street in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. Love your building. Could you please call me? I'm very interested to talk to you about it. I didn't say I want to rent, I want to buy, or anything. Are you with me? Left the message. My phone number is, and left my phone number, and I hung up. And I'm walking with my wife. She's going to get a bag from the place, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden the phone rings. It's like, oh, this guy was screening his calls. So I pick it up, had a deep voice. Yeah, this is the owner of 211 Cristo. What can I do for you? I said, okay, sir, this is a beautiful property, and I see it. Is it vacant? I see Reebok was here. Yeah. How much was Reebok paying? Oh, they were paying $12,000 a month. I wanted them to move to 15, but they said that I need to do some work inside. I said no, so they left. And not so sure I want to sell it, but I said, well, if you sell it, how much? I'm very interested in buying it. He said, well, I need $3.5 million. So I flinched. The flinch is the reaction to the price. I said, $3.5 million for an empty building? He said, sir, are you calling me to buy or to cry? I said, no. I said, I'm just trying to understand. He said, well, there is a beautiful, stupendous penthouse on the 3rd floor. You stand there, you can see the bay, Old San Juan Bay, where all the biggest cruise ships in the world come in. It's a beautiful place. I said, okay, let me go ahead and put it under contract, and I need 45 days. He said, okay, and then how long to close after that? I said 30. He said, no, if you take 45 days, you close in 15. I said, okay, may I ask for your full name, and I'll go ahead and send you a contract. So if you're serious, I want to see it in writing right now, and my lawyer is actually in the floor downstairs. I can respond to you right away. I said, wonderful. So I went, literally told my wife, you just go ahead and continue shopping. I'm going to go sit in the cafe here, and I go online. We have it actually on the website. We have contracts, and I went, and you can do it right there online, and I put the whole thing, you know, 3.5 million. I put $5,000 earnest money deposit. Listen to how I do it. He wanted 50,000 earnest money deposit. So I put 5,000 earnest money deposit, additional 45,000 when I remove the contingencies. Are you with me? And then, so all this stuff, then, you know, proof of lender to pursue a loan to do the property will be come in from Banco Popular, which is a local bank, or from this other bank, filled out all the stuff, and boom, I emailed it to the guy based on the email address he gave me. And then, what did I do? I had the information that it was 2,000 square feet on the first floor, 2,000 on the second floor. And he told me that Reebok used the downstairs as retail space and the second floor as office and storage. So what I did is I literally sat in the cafe, and I have a tenant list, thousands of tenants that we have actually compiled through the years from my office, with the name of the tenant, the phone number, the email, and what size space they like, who they like to be next to, and I started smiling and dialing. You know why I call it smiling and dialing? Because have you ever talked to somebody on the phone and you smile? It comes across more positive. So you usually get voicemail messages. So I started calling, listen to what I say. Hi, my name is Cherif Medawar. I'm calling you regarding 211 Cristo Street. It's in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's part of the U.S. territories. And there is cruise ship business that comes in every day. A lot of people come in credit card in hand, and they shop in these areas. If you're interested, please call me back. My phone number is this, and I would be happy to discuss with you any terms if you're interested to grow in that area. Boom, and I called the next one, and I called the next one. I called Adidas, I called Puma, I called Tommy Hilfiger, I called Guess, I called all kinds of tenants. Are you with me? So when do you stop calling? When do you, like if you're me, you're sitting there, when do you stop smiling and dialing? No, when the wife comes back. Honey, she arrived, okay, let's go. I left. We're going on a little cruise, literally a couple days cruise. It goes to St. Thomas, Martinique, comes around. We're just, so I put the phone in the drawer. We enjoyed the cruise, came back. As we're leaving, I opened the drawer, get the phone. We get in a taxi, we're flying to LA, coming right here. We have a home we used to have a home in Palos Verdes. We have one in Tarzana. My mom is in it. But anyway, so I get in the taxi, I'm flying to LAX, and I'm looking at voicemail. Oh my gosh, a couple of voicemail messages. Pick up the first one, it's a personal message. Next one is Puma Corporation. And the gentleman goes like this. Thank you for calling Puma offices. My name is so-and-so. I'm very interested in talking to you about this location. We actually have another store in the Plaza Las Americas Mall. We're doing very well in that mall, and we need a location as quickly as possible in Old San Juan. Please call me back at this number or this number. If after hours, here's my direct cell number. That's what I call an orgasmic voicemail message. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is unreal. I'm calling the guy voicemail, calling the guy voicemail, calling again. It's like, oh my gosh. Finally, I reach the guy. He picks up. Hi, my name is Cherif Medawar. You left me a message regarding 211 Cristo Street property. He said, yes. We sent somebody from the Plaza Las Americas space to look at it from the outside. We like the space. How much do you want? We want the first and second floors. So I said, I want $20,000 a month. And I stopped breathing. And he said, okay, but we need a 10-year lease. How many years? 10 years. Do I like 10 years? Yes. Work once and get paid 10 years. What's 20,000 times 12? $240,000. So I said to him, I want to make sure we're talking the same thing. There will be, this is every year, you're going to be there for 10 years, and this is actually triple net. He said, yes, I understand. Net of tax, insurance, and maintenance. You understand that, yes or no? He said, yes, I understand. Practically all our leases are triple net. We don't usually go to standalone locations, but we need to move the merchandise that doesn't sell at full price into an outlet location. You understand what outlet is? Discount location. I said, okay, great. He said, well, I need a corporate guarantee. You're going to give a corporate guarantee? He said, yes, our corporate guarantee is worth $800 million. I said, great. Also, there is a 3% escalation. He said, our policy is 2%. I said, well, I'm sorry, our policy is 3%. Our policy, I'm sitting in the taxi with my wife. She's trying to grab my attention to get the bags out of the taxi. I'm sitting inside one moment. He said, okay, go ahead and put it. Send me the letter of intent. Can you send it tonight? I said, tonight, sir, it's 7 p.m. I'm doing an all-nighter flying all the way to LAX. And it's going to be, he said, sir, I need it by tomorrow, 12 noon. I have a credit committee. I need to present it. We're very interested to move forward. So I got my letter of intent on the desktop. I took the flight. And the flight never flew so slow in my life. It's like, can we land already? We landed, almost 2 a.m., sent it to his office, had all his information, and what we put was Puma Corporation, lease for 10 years, 3% escalation, $240,000 a year, and you remember, it goes up every year, and corporate guarantee, triple net, sent it to him. He called me that afternoon, and he said, okay, we're ready to go. I would like to go into the space as soon as possible. When can we go in? I'm signing the letter of intent and I'm sending it back to you. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I don't even have the $5,000 to open escrow. I need to solidify the deal. You need to have the money in escrow because it's called consideration. What is it called? Consideration. I said, oh my gosh. So I call in escrow, Stewart Title over in Puerto Rico. I said, listen, I'm wiring $5,000. I run over to Wells Fargo. Boom. Right over on Ventura Boulevard, we wired the $5,000, I'm opening escrow, and I called the seller. And I told the seller, I have some good news and some bad news. He said, what is it? You're not going to buy? I said, no, I'm buying. The good news is, I'm going to close very quickly. The bad news, I don't want to pay any closing cost. He said, well, when can you close? I said, I will call you right back. Let me talk to the bank. I called the bank. I said, look, I have a letter of intent from a tenant coming in. And that tenant is Puma. I'm going to send it to you. Tell me how quickly can we close. If you can't close too quick, I'm calling the other bank. That's when banks start acting. Wait a minute. We have an appraiser who can go tomorrow. We can get you the whole thing done in a few days. I said, beautiful. By the way, at 6% cap, 6% cap, 240,000. Don't use your calculator. Just look at me. At 6% cap, 240,000 a year. How much is the first, second floor worth? I'll tell you how to calculate it without the calculator. When you hear 6% cap, you need to think 60,000 net is $1 million of price. Are you with me, yes or no? Thank you. So how many 60,000 are here? Go 4 times 6 is 24. So there is $4 million here. So the first and second floor alone are worth $4 million. I'm buying the whole building 3.5, and I still have a stupendous penthouse. I remember the guy said stupendous. I didn't have my dictionary. So I said, oh my God, this is great. The bank told me, the banker called me, said, okay, we're going to send an appraiser. We have to send an appraiser before we give the loan. This is going to happen fast. I called the seller. I said, okay, I can close practically in 2 weeks. He said, let me calculate something. In 2 weeks, instead of 60 days, I'm going to save 2 payments. I'll pay the closing cost. Let's get it done in 2 weeks. I win, you win. I said, beautiful. I'll send you a little addendum, send it to you, please sign it and send it back to me. Everything got to be formalized in writing, you understand? Because people have the tendency to forget. People have the tendency to come to the closing table and argue about $12. I didn't pay the FedEx $12. I'm not going to pay $12 to the FedEx. Man, we're doing a deal for $10 million. You're upset about that $12 is a matter of principle. Here is your $20. Have yourself some coffee. I almost handed him 100. So we put it in writing. We got the deal, bought the property, closed. He paid everything. I literally got all the closing, got my $5,000 back into the thing, got the loan. The bank told me, we can loan you more, but since the purchase is 3.5, that's all we can give, 3.5. I said, give it to 3.5 closing from Banco Popular, the bank there, which they have branches in Los Angeles, by the way. They have in Miami, they have in New York. Close at 3.5. I started thinking, what can I do with that penthouse? I don't need the penthouse. I don't want the penthouse. I don't need that residential. I know what I'm going to do. What I did was, I separated, it's called horizontal segregation. So I separated the top floor and the second floor and the first floor. Separated the water meter, the gas meter, the electric meter, and issued separate deeds. So instead of one deed ownership of the whole building, I created how many deeds? 3 deeds. Water, electric, so separate deeds. So they take the deed, which is the description of the property and how it's the ownership of the property, and they created 3 separate deeds. So now it's 3 separate. Can I now sell this one separately, yes or no? And I advertised it. And I said, seller flexible, must sell immediately at appraised value. So whatever it appraises for, let's see what's going to happen. And put the ad in a local newspaper and online. And what next thing I get a call. I'm back right here, and I get a call, and this guy says, I need access. I said, there is a combination lock box. You go in, this. They go in, and they call me back. They said, look, I'm not going to argue with you. It's a straight offer. Take it or leave it. I said, how much? He said, $2 million. I wanted to flinch. I couldn't. I said, done. This is a stupendous penthouse. $2 million for upstairs. I got so excited. I said, okay, let's get it done. Let's make it happen. I flew back. This is 6 months later. I had owned the building. It took me about 4 months to separate it. And then we cleaned it up a little bit, made it real nice, staged it, and put it for sale. It took another month. I put it for sale right away. It had the offer. I flew back, and I was at the bank. I remember sitting at the big table from the bank. And I'm praying. I said, thank you, God, for putting me at the right place at the right time. This is just amazing. Having that building, making the offer, getting this thing, having the presence of mind to split it. This is $2 million. That's going to be amazing. And the buyer and his wife, the lady with him, they were speaking Spanish. I understand Spanish very well, but they were not talking to me, so I didn't talk too much. And then the bank representative came over. He's the CPA of the bank. He said, Mr. Medawar? I said, yes. He said, you realize you just bought less than 6 months ago? I said, yeah. The $2 million is profit, is short-term capital gain. We're going to have to withhold 33 1/3%. We withhold it here, and when you file your taxes, you can figure it out with the IRS and Hacienda, which is the IRS sister in Puerto Rico. By the way, if they withhold 33 1/3%, so on every million, they withhold 330,000, so it's $660-some thousand. By the way, still walking away with a 1.3 million, would that be good, yes or no? Yes, but not good enough. So I said, sir, let me ask you something. He said, yes. I said, are you calculating that the 2 million is my profit? Because there is something called cost basis. He said, pardon me? I said, look, I teach this, so let me explain it with all due respect. Are you telling me that the 2 million is profit? When I bought this, there had to be an allocated cost. He said, oh yes, you're right, there's a cost basis. There is a form I need you to fill out. I said, please bring the form. He brought the form. The form tells you cost basis and selling price. Are you with me? So he said, look, he brings it to me and he says, Mr. Medawar, he's a kind of fat guy, you know what I mean? He's a big CPA guy, he likes to eat a lot. And he's standing there and he said, look, let me explain to you. He's like away from the table from his size. And I'm like, yes. And he said, if your cost basis is $1 million and you sold it at $2 million, your gain is $1 million, we withhold the 33 1/3% on just $1 million. Does it make a difference, yes or no? I said, you know what? He said, what? I said, my cost basis is $2 million. And he said, and you're selling it at $2 million? I said, yes. You're not making any profit? I said, no. He said, I'm so sorry for your loss. I said, thanks for your emotion. He said, but wait a minute, you have to complete the rest of the form. I said, okay, on the second floor is storage and office. That is cost basis $500,000. The first floor is retail. Cost basis is $1 million. The CPA of the bank reaches over the calculator, stretches the cord, and zeroes it out. And he puts $2 million plus 500,000 plus 1 million plus. And he goes, oh, it's 3.5 million. The correct purchase price that you purchased it for. Congratulations, sir, you're in the clear. I said, thank you, have a good day. Is that pretty good, yes or no? Let me pause for a second, lest you think the IRS is stupid. Now, let's say I get audited. And the IRS agent says to me, I know what you did. I know what you did. You inflated the price here, decreased the basis here, so when you sell here, you have a selling price, your cost basis $2 million, sold at $2 million, you have no taxes. I'm telling him, what are you talking about? What are you talking? Are you telling me that the cost basis was like $1 million and it actually doubled in value in 6 months? Is this what you're telling me? Because I don't know of any area in the world that property doubles in 6 months. I just bought it 6 months ago. Are you with me, yes or no? And the IRS has to have reason. And is that reasonable? No, it's not reasonable what they're telling me. So I bought, sold, zero tax right here. But let me ask you something. If the next day I sell downstairs, what did we say downstairs is worth? How much? 4 million. And doesn't the form have a cost basis of 1.5? See how they get you now? So later, if I sell the one downstairs, they're going to go back to that form that's recorded with them. It's going to say, the cost basis is 1.5. We got you now. You got $2.5 million profit. But let me ask you. This is 6 months later. If I sell upstairs, it's going to be over a year. There is a difference between short-term gain, ordinary tax, and long-term gain, which is long-term capital gain, is taxed at lower. Paying taxes now and finish is good. Paying taxes later is better because it's less. Paying taxes never is the way to go. This is the cost basis. So as the banker leaves, I'm relaxed and happy and I'm smiling. Thank you, God. I had the presence of mind to figure out what I have to tell this man who was just going to take from me $667,000. And then it hit me. Wait a minute. In a few minutes, the VP of the bank is going to come over and he's going to say, Cherif, we just gave you $3.5 million on 3 floors. You're selling 1 floor. We need to actually take some of that money and reduce your debt. Is that correct, yes or no? He's going to tell me, we loan you 3.5 on a building with 3 floors. You're selling this. We cannot release the whole 2 million. We're going to take maybe $1 million or maybe 750 and reduce your debt. So I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, this guy. And sure enough, the VP and the CPA come back together. Can we talk to you outside? I said, you can talk to me right here. It's no problem. And he said, look, we loaned you $3.5 million on the property. And, you know, under normal circumstances, we'll take some of the $2 million to reduce the debt. But we love having Puma Corporation with the corporate guarantee for $800 million and the escalation is 3% every year. Is it okay with you if we leave the loan? We love our loans secured against properties like this with tenants like that with corporate guarantee. Is it okay if we can leave the $3.5 million loan and go ahead and cash you the whole $2 million? Is that okay? What do you think? Is that okay? I'm like tears in my eyes. I get very emotional about money. I said, sir, that is wonderful. That is fine with me. He said, there is a form here. How do you want the money? And the form itself has like the money. It's like deposited in the bank account in Puerto Rico, wired to the bank account in California, put the wiring information, etc. Or you can have it cash. I said, can I have it cash in a Samsonite bag with some handcuffs? I've seen it in a movie. And the guy, no sense of humor with the bankers. Like, no, we can't do that. Over 10,000. Notify the FBI. Notify them. Tell them I just sold. They will be so happy. Maybe they come to my classes.